Call Jersey Central at 732-545-9282. Toll free at 888-545-9282. Watch Jersey Central live online at WCTCAM.com or listen on your smartphone with the iHeartRadio or TuneIn apps. Connect with WCTC on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube by searching 1450 WCTC. And now back to Jersey's Morning Show, Jersey Central with Bert Barron.
For the Forge Jewelers, Omega time is 7:37. Forge Jewelers, the official jeweler of 1450 WCTC. It's Bert. Welcome back to Jersey Central. Our contest is on the way. We've got a couple prizes to give away to one lucky winner coming up in just a little bit. Well, I have a special guest who is standing by on the Jersey Central Newsmaker hotline. He's a former weightlifting coach for a New Jersey high school, and he's currently working as a sports performance coach, and he's an Olympic weightlifting, where he teaches Olympic weightlifting at some CrossFit gyms around the Philadelphia area. Written a brand new book that is targeted towards the baby boomer generation, specifically with weight training and just sort of getting that older generation in better shape. So I want to welcome Tim Caso to Jersey Central this morning. Hey, Tim, it's Bert Barron. How are you?
I'm well, Bert. Thanks for having me on this morning.
My pleasure. Thanks so much for making yourself available. What inspired you to finally write this book and target this very important demographic of which I'm pretty close to being a member of?
Well, I've got 50 years or thereabouts of weight training and weightlifting experience, and it's been a comprehensive journey for me, and I wanted to pass it on the best way I could. And the reason I targeted this generation is that I feel it's a very underserved market. Most weightlifting magazines and websites or what have you are all targeted to the 20-something generation, really overlooking this important demographic, and that's why I've specifically targeted this my book to these folks.
Now, aside from just looking great, after somebody is on like a weight training program that you know they're doing it the right way and they're real serious about it and they got the big muscles and everybody always looks real good, are there other health benefits, Tim, that go along with being in weight training and just having that good physique?
Oh, my, yes. One of the things it does, and this is very important for our demographic, or at least my demographic, Bert, and that is it improves bone density. As we get older, our bones tend to honeycomb, and when you lift heavy weights or relatively heavy weights, it tends to increase your bone mass, number one. It helps you better manage your weight than cardio or any other exercise, and it improves your metabolism. So there's a lot of good benefits other than just looking good.
Pretty awesome. And you mentioned you've been doing this for over 50 years now, Tim. That's pretty cool. I'm thinking about the heyday of weightlifting, the Lou Ferrignos, the Arnold Schwarzeneggers, when weightlifting was kind of like a cool thing that everybody was into. So you kind of came up in that period, right?
Yes, I did. I actually started training when I was 11 for an upcoming football season, and one of the things that always stuck in my mind was what my father told me, and that was all else being equal, the stronger athlete will win. And that made a lot of sense to me. That really inspired me to train. I morphed my kind of bodybuilding weight training into competitive Olympic weightlifting when I got to college. I was lucky enough to have a gym. I grew up in New Jersey, so the gym is somewhat north of you in Belleville, New Jersey, and we had an awesome club, and that's really where I learned a lot of great things in terms of how weightlifting works and the benefits of it.
Very cool. So you were able to take a lot of your experiences over the years and be able to help you kind of put this book together, right? Give people the title of the book first and where they can buy it.
Sure. The title of the book is Weight Training for Old Guys, and you can get it on
right.
on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, or at my site, weighttrainingforoldguys.com.
And your experiences help you kind of put this together. Somebody said, you know what, you should write a book someday, and you finally did it, right?
Yes, that's pretty much the way it came about. One of the things my experience as a competitive weightlifter taught me was that volume really makes a difference. And basically volume means sets and reps. So when I was a lifter, we would do 6 to 10 ton workouts, 3 or 4 nights a week, and that really helped not only build our body, but more importantly helped us get strong, which is what our objective was. Carry that over to weight training, and basically what that means is that instead of doing one or two sets of a certain exercise, let's say deadlifts or bench press, you'll do 4, 5, maybe 6 sets. of that particular exercise. That packs the muscle on. That helps you get in shape.
Awesome. And like with any other sport, whether you're lifting weights competitively or bodybuilding like you were, or somebody who just wants to get into weightlifting to get in better shape, like any other sport, Tim, preparation and warming up and getting loose is a real important way to avoid getting injured, right?
Oh, absolutely. There are a couple things you need to do to avoid injury. You hit the nail on the head, Bert. You want to stretch. You want to warm up. So you get on the treadmill. You get on the stationary bike. You ride for a little bit. Make sure you're thoroughly stretched out before you start your routine. Another way to avoid injury is to learn how to do the movement, and that's a very, very important thing. That's another thing I learned when I started weightlifting for this club. We had a doctrine of technique first, strength second, body weight third. Basically, what that means is that you learn how to do the lift first. That's paramount. I mean, when I first started, I lifted with a broomstick for about 6 weeks, so that I had kind of an idea of what I was doing. Then we worry about how strong you get, and then as a competitor, you'll worry about what weight class you're going to compete in. So technique first is absolutely critical. And the next thing to avoid injury is to not overtrain. And overtraining basically means doing too much for too long. You want to segment your workouts into roughly 8-week cycles. Take that ninth week off where you'll swim or you'll do some walking or biking or what have you. But you want to get away from the weight room and then start your new cycle. That way you keep it fresh and you really avoid what we call overuse injuries, tendinitis, things of that nature.
So it's a typical case of more doesn't always mean better. Lifting more weights is not as beneficial as doing the right exercises and doing it the right way.
Absolutely. In fact, for you strength athletes out there, I will advise you that actually less is more. In fact, you work out twice a week, that will help you improve far more than if you're doing it 4 times a week. That's something I learned after my weightlifting career, because rest is so critical. And also getting up for these workouts is critical too. If you're pounding it away, 3, 4, 5 nights a week, you're not going to have the mental energy to continue a rigorous training regimen.
To do like a lift, like from the ground up over your head, Tim, does the same rule of thumb apply that, you lift with your legs and not your back? That's a key component of what you do here, right?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And again, that's where flexibility comes into it. You will not be able to get into what we call a good starting position if your hips are not flexible. Again, circling back to what we talked about injury-wise, that's another reason you want to stretch thoroughly so that you can get in the right positions so you can lift the weight properly and, again, avoid injury.
Gotcha. Our guest this morning is Tim Caso. He's a sports performance coach, and he's also the author of the book, Weight Training for Old Guys. You can visit the website. I love the name, by the way, weighttrainingforoldguys.com. There's reviews, and you can even purchase a copy of the book when you visit the website there. Tim, you need to clarify for me the oldest urban legend in the book. And everybody says, well, I'm afraid to start weightlifting because if I stop, all my muscle all turns to fat, and I'm just going to be fat and flabby. Will you please? Can you clarify that, please, once and for all for my audience?
Absolutely. Very simply, muscle is made up of certain cells, and fat is made up of different cells, and one will not turn into the other once you stop a certain activity. Where that myth came from, I think, Bert, is that once you're weightlifting and you're in shape, your body requires a certain caloric intake. And if you stop exercising and stop weightlifting and keep eating the way you were, well, it's going to appear that your muscles are turning into fat because your muscles are atrophying and you're consuming the same amount of calories, so you're going to bulk up. You're going to get fat. That's I think where the myth started, but certainly muscle does not turn into fat. I mean, that's like turning lead into gold. We all wish.
That's a great analogy. Yeah, I like that. Thank you for clarifying that, by the way. So for somebody like me, Tim, as we're wrapping up here, I probably honestly, and I hate to admit this to you, I probably haven't lifted a weight in about 20 years or so. But what if I wanted to maybe get into, maybe doing some curling, maybe develop a little definition? I'm pushing 50. I want to be looking good. Something simple like that. How would I start a weightlifting regimen?
Okay. If someone like you, Bert, hasn't lifted in a very long time,
Mm-hmm.
the best thing you can do is when you join the gym, start circuit training. Start working on the machines. Get some degree of body strength first. Then one of the things my book emphasizes is what we call compound exercises. These are exercises that work several muscle groups at the same time. So deadlifting, for example, will work your upper thighs, your hips, your back, and to a lesser extent your posterior deltoid. It's almost a full body workout in and of itself. As a guy just starting out, I wouldn't advise you to start deadlifting, squatting, or what have you. I would want you to start on a circuit, get a degree of body strength, do that for 3 or 4 months before you go into the free weights. That is the best way to train.
Okay.
That's the best way to start.
Maybe that's what I'll dive back in. And a spotter is important, even for someone who lifts at the advanced level that you do, Tim. A spotter is critical, right?
Absolutely. One of that is the most important aspect of gym safety. And unfortunately, when I look around in gyms and watch people spot someone who is squatting, 9 times out of 10 they're doing it improperly. When what I mean by that is that typically you'll have somebody standing behind the lifter and trying to bear hug this guy as he's squatting. First of all, the spotter is in the lifter's space, number one. Number two, from a lifting point of view, it's a very poor leverage position to try to pull up a lifter plus the weight he's lifting. The best way to do that is, again, this is what I learned way back when, is to position the spotter on either side of the lifter with the hands clasped underneath the weight. That way, if the lifter gets pinned or meaning he can't continue the set and he's stuck on the bottom, if you will, or God forbid he gets injured in the middle of this, you can catch the weight without a problem. So that's the best way. But in fact, I have a picture of that in the book.
Oh, yeah.
I emphasize spotting and gym safety to the nth degree.
All right, we'll have to take a look at that. Last word is yours, Tim. Brag a little bit. What's the heaviest amount of weight you ever lifted up?
My best back squat ever is 500 for 5 reps.
Oh, wow. 500 pounds.
Yeah.
I am so jealous.
And these are full squats, too. I was below parallel at the time, so yeah.
Man, that's unbelievable. Tim Caso, sports performance coach and author of the book, Weight Training for Old Guys. Thanks for your time this morning, and good luck with the book going forward. I'm going to check out that website and see what kind of stuff you got on there, all right?
All right. Sounds good, Bert. Thank you.
Thank you, Tim. Have a great day. All right, author Tim Caso, my guest on Jersey.